A lot of you guys already know this, but as of lately, I have been absolutely obsessed with embossing with my Cricut. It's such a subtle way to give a professional touch to whatever you are creating. So if you're looking to make the most out of your Cricut, stick around because I'm going to walk you through step by step how I get this result every single time. I always start off with a new custom size in Canva and lay out my design here. After you've created your design, try to get a vision of what you see being embossed into your invitation or your design or whatever you're deciding to make. As you guys already know, I went with the date as the embossed feature. So since everything on this invitation is not going to be embossed, I'm going to have to take out two different files of this project to make sure I can bring one into Design Space and one to print. So the first one I'm going to save out is my Design Space file. Up in the top right, I'm going to hit the share button, come down to download, and I am going to make this a PNG. I'm going to slide my toggle all the way to the right to get the highest resolution, and then I'm going to select transparent background. Once I've done that, I can go ahead and click download. Now that I see that's being downloaded, I need to save out a file that is going to be the one I send to print. Before I go to that top right button and click share again, I need to get rid of this date because obviously, as you guys saw, it did not have any ink to it. It was just embossed. So in order to temporarily get rid of it, I clicked on the layer and then I hit Command X just to cut it out of my file. Once that was removed, I went to my top corner share button and now I'm downloading this again, except this time I'm making this a PDF best for print. And then for a better color match, I change this over to CMYK. And then I am good to download this file out. While that is being done, I am going to hit Command V to paste that file back in there so my date is in just in case I need to come back and make any tweaks to this design. Since I'm pretty confident in how I emboss and that this is going to line up for me, I'm going to actually decide to print this first. If you're more comfortable waiting to the end to make sure your embossing comes out correct, you can also do that as well. It does not matter which order the print and emboss goes in. So in order for me to print this out, I am going to open up my preview of the printable file that we saved as a PDF. On your desktop, you want to go to File, Print in order to open up your printer settings. Before I walk you guys through my selections, just so you know, I have a Canon Pixma, so these are the selections I end up going with based off this printer. Since I'm going to be printing directly onto 5x7 invitations, I need to change the size of my paper. As you can see under all of my standard sizing, I do have some templates already set up. So I have my 5x7 invitation template that I just selected, and as you could see, the preview changed on the left-hand side. If you want to make a new template as well, go to Manage Custom Size. This window should pop up for you, and then you want to hit that plus button. In order to zero out my margins, I come here, I click my printer, and then I go back to User Undefined. And that's my little cheat for zeroing out the margins. Sometimes it will give me an error when I try to do it manually, so that's why I do it that way. And then I proceed to change the sizing of my invitation that I want to set out as a template. Just make sure before you click OK and save this template out that you double click on the left-hand side to rename this template for yourself. That way, if you go to use this multiple times, you don't have to do this continuously. Another thing that I like to recommend that you check is that your scale is set at 100%. Sometimes this is already done when you have scale to fit. You could see it's grayed out, but I just like to double check and make sure. That looks good. I would switch over from preview to quality and media so you can change your paper type. For this save the date, I did use a watercolor paper, so I'm going to change it over to photo paper and matte photo. And then of course you want to change your print quality to high. Those are probably my main settings that I always look to change before I send this off to print. Now once we have those printed, or if we're deciding to wait until after we've embossed, we want to go over to Design Space and set up our file. In the top right, I hit New Project and I'm going to go down to Blank Canvas. And the first thing I want to do is upload that file in that we saved out as a PNG. On the left-hand toolbar, you'll see the upload button and then you want to go to Upload Image. Since my file is in my Downloads folder, I am just going to click and drag it right on top of here. If you prefer, you can always click the Browse button to locate your file that way as well. When you have a preview of your image, you can go ahead and click Continue. In this background remover window, since I was able to save out with transparent background, I don't need to do anything here, but if you were not able to, you can try to click and have that background removed manually. Then for Convert Upload To, I usually take single layer for this type of project. And after saving it out, your file should be brought into your blank canvas. Since I saved my image out of Canva as a high res, it's going to come in rather large, but I'm just scaling it down to 5x7 for the time being. In order to get the sizing of my design correct, I'm going to go over to the left-hand side where it says Shapes. And I'm going to go down to the bottom here and click a square to have that drop into my canvas. Since my invitation is going to be white, I'm just going to select the color here so I can envision this better. I'm going to go over to the Unlock button for my sizing, and I'm going to change this to 5x7. With that object still selected, I am going to right-click, go down to Arrange, and then hit Send to Back. Now I'm starting to see my invitation come to life a little, but I need to scale down my design a little bit because it was not this big. What I recommend is on your desktop or wherever you're working, try to put the Canva design next to the design on Design Space so you can kind of envision how big this was. It absolutely does not need to be exact. It's just trying to give yourself a rough point on where the design was laying. When you're happy with the positioning of how the design looks, I am going to have to go ahead and get rid of the stuff that I do not want embossed at all. So going back into my Shapes toolbar here, I'm going to drop in another square, but I'm going to make this a rectangle once again. And what I need to do with this rectangle rectangle is cover up the design that I do not want embossed at all. So pretty much everything that we just had printed, we need to get rid of. When I open up my right hand layers panel, I'm going to keep my rectangle selected and hold down shift to select my design as well. Then on the bottom here, I want to hit that slice tool so I have all these slice results and I can get rid of my design. So you see when I start pulling these slice results out, I can just keep deleting them because they are not files I need anymore. And then I am left with the date, which is all I wanted, so I can emboss that. Now my secret in order to lining this up is to duplicate the shape I am designing on. So this 5x7 rectangle I am duplicating and I'm putting right back on top of where I just had it. So you're really not able to see it, but you know it's there. And you're gonna see in a minute why exactly we need that extra rectangle. Now in order to create an emboss layer, we need to take what we want embossed, which is our date here, go to the top toolbar where it says edit, and then come down under effects to offset. Staying on the right hand side of that toolbar, we want to drop the number down as close as we can to our design, but we want it to still show an outline. As you guys know, for most of my designs, I do usually go with 0.02 for this, so I'm going to stick with that because I have never been failed with this. And you could see as I was messing with that toggle that it was bringing the outline closer to my design. Now I'm good to hit apply. That offset layer is still selected. Go up to the top where it says basic cut, and this needs to be changed to deboss. There is no emboss function, just so you guys know right off the bat. So the deboss tool is exactly the same for embossing and debossing. It just matters on how you set up your offset layer. Now, if you're a Cricut Explorer user, you can use the score function because you're not going to have the deboss function set up on your computer. And instead of the deboss tip, you can use either a scoring stylus or even the foiling tip works for this. Opening up my layers panel on the right hand side, I now have all the layers that I need to create this. But before I go ahead and click make, I need to make sure that these designs are matched up with each one of these 5x7 rectangles. That is how you're going to nail this placement and make sure the embossing comes out just the way you want. So as you can see, I took my layer that is going to be the designed cut and one of my rectangles, and I am hitting attach. Do not hit flatten, do not hit group, you want attach. And since these layers are both set under basic cut, this is going to be our step one. Then these last two layers that I have here, my offset deboss and also my basic cut square that I'm using as my template to hold the placement, I am also going to be attaching. And then I am just labeling that as step 2, so in case I need to go back, I know which one is which. And now guys, we are good to take a breath because we are going to go ahead and click make so we can set up our mats. Once you have a preview of your mat, I am going to make this a little bit more complicated myself because I want to get 2 done at one time. So on the left hand side where it says project copies, I am going to up that to 2 so it duplicates both of these. And then I'm going to move my deboss design to my second mat and just have the cut ones on my first one. So the one that looks bolder is going to be the deboss function one, and then the one that is thinner is going to be the cut. If you don't know how to move an object from one mat to another, you just want to hit the 3 dot icon on the top left corner of each one and then just move it to whatever mat you want it on. So that's what you see me maneuvering right now. Now that I have my step 1 cuts on my first mat and the deboss designs on the second mat, I am going to go ahead and line these up. When I go into my first mat, I am going to try to line up the top left corner with the 1-1 mark. This is where I want you to not be afraid to zoom in as much as you need, but honestly, Design Space has done pretty good with the updates as far as having it click to the grid. It used to be more of a struggle, but they've definitely improved this feature. As you can see, the closer I get into zooming, I can really make sure that I am lined up perfectly with the 1-1 grid. And then with the second design that is also on the same mat, I am going to line that up at the 6-1. That way, both of my 5x7 cards are going to be lined up right next to each other. As a friendly little side note to all my beginners, don't ever line your designs up around the edges. As you can see, these little safety guidelines that are in red are not your friend. I try to avoid them at all costs, and honestly, that's how I get the most accurate position when it comes to designing anything with Design Space. And then to finish this off, I'm going to go click my second mat, and I'm going to do the same exact positioning with the 1-1 and the 6-1 mark. And then I feel good about continuing on to have this set to make. Just make sure before you hit continue that you are on your first mat where it is the basic cut. As far as the material that I use for that stamp template that we are about to make is a 300 GSM cardstock. I feel like that always comes out best for me, so I do highly recommend it. And of course, if you guys ever need any product recommendations based off projects you've seen me do, just check out my LTK or my Amazon storefront. I always link all the materials I purchased that you see in my projects. And after loading in my 12x12 mat with that cardstock, I am able to remove all the extra that I don't need. All you want to leave is the design of what you're going to be having embossed. And then directly on top, I'm going to load in that watercolor paper that I had printed on earlier in the video. Again, lined at that 1-1 and 1-6 mark. And before I can load this mat back into my Cricut, I need to go back to Design Space and I need to select the material of what I'm having embossed. And once you have that selected, it's going to tell you what tool to load in, which is the number 21. Luckily, the deboss function comes before the cut and they have to go in the same clamp. So honestly, I never even put my blade back in there after it's debossed. Just unload my mat after it says to switch blades and I call it a day. Best part is you can use that stencil as many times as you want and just load your 5x7s on top of it as many times as you need. And there you have it, your your professionally embossed invitations.